So Greenland and Antarctica are central to the future of sea level change. Greenland is already contributing about 1/3 of present day sea level, and Antarctica less, but the future of Antarctica is a great riddle. Will it contribute a lot in the future? Will it contribute a little? The difference between those two numbers is 50 million people being affected by sea level change in the future, or 150 million people being affected by sea level by the end of the century. People matter, and some of the world's poorest and most vulnerable people will be affected the most by climate change, and sea level's right at the top of that list. And so we want to be able to get information, the best information, into the hands of those people and people all around the world, so that individuals and governments and companies and community groups can make good decisions about their future. Hobart is a remarkable environment to work in scientifically. We're based on the edge of Antarctica, and we have a wealth of world-leading scientists at the University of Tasmania, the Australian Antarctic Division, the CSIRO, where groups of people have been able to collaborate now for decades on solving some of these big questions. And now we have an opportunity, based on that heritage, to really dig deep into the future of the Antarctic ice sheet. Modelers who are understanding what the future of the oceans and how that may melt the ice sheets. Observational scientists like myself who are interested in how the ice sheets are changing or observing sea levels as it change. And then robotic infrastructure, people who are out there measuring, using robots to measure the changing ocean and beaming that information back and providing real-time measurements of things going on. So we have a tremendous mix of those doing computer modelling, observational scientists across a wide domain, and able to get into the field from this wonderful gateway of Hobart. At school I loved computers, I loved maths, I was okay at physics, and I was drawn in the end to surveying. And so I studied surveying, but I thought I was going to become a professional surveyor and go and work out in industry. But I realised late in my undergraduate degree at the University of Tasmania that I could measure things precisely and carefully, and I could learn something new about the planet that we live on. And then afterwards, during my PhD, I realised that I could measure things carefully and learn something new about Antarctica and how it had changed and how it was changing. And so that gave me the launch pad to think about Antarctica more and more, and then think about Greenland, and then think about sea level change. And so from the beginnings of coding away on my computer at home, I've got to a position where we now use satellites and other information to understand and observe the Earth as it changes. I think at my core, even reflecting back to my childhood, I'm a problem solver at heart. And so the opportunity now to be working on some of the most profound problems that society faces is actually really great. And it's particularly great because I get to work with wonderful, smart people who are also working on this same problem, with the end point being the same, of wanting to inform the global population about how the Earth is changing and how it might change in the future.